Good morning, and welcome to the Mind Your Business show. I am one of your hosts, Milt Walker, and I am joined today with a special guest, and of course, by the legendary Mr. Tony Calloway. Tony, how's everything going today?
Hey, Maestro, it's a beautiful Saturday morning here in Columbus, Georgia, man. It's supposed to be another hot one, but I tell people I'm a native Georgian. I said you get used to it, but you never like it.
Right, exactly. I could agree to that.
Yeah, so I certainly appreciate you getting everything together and having us on this morning. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Mind Your Business show. We're in for a very special treat. We have an expert. We have an expert in business funding with us this morning, all the way from Tampa, Florida. We have Mr. Daniel Witten with Operating in the Black. Good morning, Daniel. How are you today, my brother?
Good morning, Godfather. Good morning, Maestro.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's
Good morning,
certainly,
sir.
it's a good day here in Tampa. It's hard to complain about the weather that we have here, so I won't do that to you. But yeah, it's great. Thank you all so much for having us.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you. And I've talked to Daniel quite a few times, and I told him I've been to Tampa lots and lots of time, and all I know of Tampa is Dale Mabry Boulevard because I would land at the airport and drive to MacDill Air Force Base and maybe one block off either side to a restaurant, and that's about it. So Tampa, I'm sure, is an exciting place, and I look forward to getting a chance to have you show me more of it. But
Absolutely.
it's incredible that we've been able to connect. So for everybody's benefit, Daniel, who is the principal with Operating in the Black, is a small and medium-sized business capital provider. And today we're going to have some conversations not only on his business, but talk about the importance of what we do in getting capital to small entrepreneurial businesses. He's been at it for a while, so I'm not going to steal all his thunder. But being a country boy, as I am, I always have to ask folks, like they used to ask me, Milt, who your folks? So, Daniel, how about helping us to get to know you a little bit better on the personal side first, where you're from, who your folks, and, leading us up to where you started your business.
Okay, very good. I'm originally from Fort Smith, Arkansas. I am one of 10 children. There are 5 boys and 5 girls, each one accomplished in their own individual ways. My mother is 93 years old, so she's been around for a while, and we've definitely had the opportunity to enjoy her. At the age of 18, I hopped on a bus and drove to the recruiter's office and got to become an airman. So that's my background. United States Air Force, combat comm. I was in the Air Force for 10 years, went to Desert Shield, Desert Storm, had my opportunity to do that, serve our country. Once I got out of the military, I had the opportunity of working for Nokia Mobile Phones. I started out there as just a basic technician, and then I was promoted into the engineering department where I was assigned a $100 million account. And within a year, the team we grew that account to about $753 million. I left Nokia, and I wanted to get into a sales opportunity because engineering, it's great, it's wonderful, but your whole idea there is to put yourself out of a job. So I wanted to be in a position where I could actually grow and do different things, and money's always important when you're trying to do things in life. So I got into sales. I've worked for a number of Fortune 500 companies in that aspect. One of the things that we got involved in was learning real estate. So I've worked in that for a number of years. So I started working for BFS Capital, which was into the funding department. And that's kind of how I got here. I didn't know if you wanted me to tell them a little bit about why Operating in the Black started, but I guess I could segue into that right now if you wanted me to.
Well, hey, you're on a roll, my man. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, approximately 2.5-3 years ago, my daughter was diagnosed with cancer. And when you're the number one salesperson, I'm battling for that number one, number two slot in the organization. And they're coming to me and they're saying, Daniel, you're taking too much time off of work. We really need you here. So I had to make a decision if I was going to stay there or if I was going to support my daughter. So I had to stop and do that. And that's how Operation in the Black got started. It's just I needed something which would allow me to utilize my talents, but also just focus on the most important things. You know, when your baby girl gets hit with something like that, I don't care what type of veteran you are. I don't care about what kind of combat situations that you've seen. It really can really hit you at times. So that's why Operating in Black came into existence. And when you hire people, you hire friends, you know, the job doesn't stop happening. You know, you can still support your customers and also support your family. I'm going to let her come in here real quick. Come here, baby. Real quick. just wave and say hello.
Beautiful. Hello. What's your name?
Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
what's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Come here. What is your name? Introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Stella.
Hello.
Hey, Stella.
And
Nice
she
to meet
loves
you.
business as well. She's done a little short commercial for us, so we might be putting her on a little bit later for that.
Well, we're going to count on that. Look forward to having you back, Stella. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, hey man, I see what your motivation is.
She's wonderful. She's an inspiration, and as I was talking to you all about off record, just how tough she is. And one of the things I talk to business owners about is that they say, "Well, Daniel, why should I go into business?" And I said, "Well, understand something. If you're making less than $15 an hour, you're already in business.
Mm-hmm.
You're already experiencing what small business owners go through. Am I going to be able to meet my budget? Okay. Is this going to happen for me this way? Because when you go work for someone, that first 2 weeks, do you really know you're going to get paid?
You're right.
Okay. Do you really know? You have to have faith.
Exactly.
And the difference between a business owner and someone making $15 an hour or less is that if you're making $15 an hour or less, you only have one customer. That's it.
Yep.
When you own your own business, you have the opportunity to have an abundance of customers. So that's basically the principle that we work on here.
Wow. Well, that's inspiring, man. And thank you so much for opening your life to, you know, let us understand what your motivation is. And you certainly have a strong one right there. And it is interesting because historically speaking, you mentioned you were in Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I was the 5th guy off the first plane of U.S. troops that flew into Saudi Arabia after Iraq invaded Kuwait. So we have that common experience. I'm probably a good bit older than you, but from the standpoint that thank you for your service. And I have a lot of respect for the Air Force because everybody in my family except for me, and I think I had a cousin that got drafted back during Vietnam. We were the only Army guys. So all you airmen out there, I salute you. And in fact, today is my dad's birthday. He's deceased a little over a year, but he was a master sergeant retired from the Air Force Reserve. So he and all our brothers in arms, hey, we're excited about you. And hopefully you're paying attention because we definitely want to have more veterans who are entrepreneurs and business owners, and we're here to serve you. And so I want to turn things back to Daniel because I want to hear the name of your business. I'm sure it has some metaphorical elements to it as well, but how'd you come up with the name Operating in the Black? I mean, there's several subtitles that could go with that, you know. So help us, unwrap that for us because I really, really want to hear that story too.
Well, when I was working for Nokia, one of the things that when you are doing an advertising campaign or a marketing campaign and going out to, the Anheuser-Busch's of the world, any of the other Fortune 500 companies, you want to make sure that whatever campaign you're running is going to be profitable. So that was the term that we used to use, is that how do we stay in the black while we're going through that? And if you just kind of Google in the black, it's just a finance term stating that your business is profitable and you're healthy and, different things of that nature. And obviously, if I look in the mirror, I look black, so I feel. I was like, okay, well, I think that works.
That's the obvious, right?
It's one of those things that I felt, again, and minorities, veterans, women are really underrepresented when it comes to funding And I just want to make this a place where everyone, it doesn't matter race, creed, religion, where you're going to feel comfortable coming in here to ask questions, because there are no stupid questions. There's no one greater, and we have flexible hours here. So if you're running a business and you can't take that call from 9 to 5 because Wall Street is open and you have to be open, we understand that. So we have hours after 5 o'clock if you need that, so that we can talk to you at your convenience. So we just really try to stay as flexible as we possibly can.
Well, that is fantastic. And you mentioned hours. Depending on the type of business someone runs, especially if it's, say, a virtual type of operation. I have clients who are on West Coast Pacific time, so their 5 o'clock is my 8 o'clock. So I'll have calls scheduled for 8, 9 p.m. And,
right.
It's just in the world that we live in now, place is virtually irrelevant unless you have a storefront where people have to come in. But accessibility is one of the most valuable assets, I think, in the business world today. And what it is that you do, Daniel, is you help provide access to capital for businesses that typically can't access the capital they need from the traditional banking system. And I understand that you work for BFS Capital, and that's the space that they're in. But if you would share with people, how you evolved your specific approach to private money lending, and let's just have some conversation about that, some of the misperceptions people have about private money, and the difference that you're making for folks. So how did you make the migration from being in someone's business to taking your business to the street and start operating in the black?
Well, one of the things that people, I guess where I spend the majority of time is taking people out of being an employee into a business owner. Okay, that's where I spend the majority of my time. There are loans in our business that are, the interest rates are extraordinarily high. Okay, they're called merchant cash advances. And if you are anything under 2 years in business, you're probably going to run into something like that, especially if your credit is not exemplary. Okay. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I have to explain to people is that how are you coming in to your business? What do you know about your business? Because, what you don't know, you pay for.
Right.
Okay? What you don't know, you pay for. Here's an example. When I started flipping houses, the first thing that I did is I started walking around the neighborhoods looking for vacant homes. And then I would contact those owners either by mail or however I could get a hold of them and put those houses under contract. So I had to learn that. No one could teach me that. I had to get out there and learn that, but it was $0. And then I take those contracts and I would take those to people who were actually in the business of flipping homes. And I would sell those contracts for $5,000. And then when I did that 5 times, I had $25,000. Now, when I go and talk to those owners and put those homes under contracts with a halfway decent credit score, I could start flipping my own homes. I can start doing that same business because now I have contacts in the business. I kind of understand what's going on. So when we're talking to business owners, like, well, what is your experience level? I understand you have a dream and we want to support you in that dream. So how do we facilitate that? And then if someone has to get a very expensive loan, I always tell them, do you know what you're using this money for?
Right.
Okay. Because you have to know how much money you're going to make. I used to run a large telemarketing room. The owner of the business said, here's $1,000, Daniel. At the end of the night, I want 10 grand. So sometimes we hit that 10 grand in 4 hours. Sometimes we would hit it in 7. And sometimes I had to get those folks, keep the folks over a little bit longer until we hit that $10,000 because I don't want to be out of a job. Okay. And that's how you have to know how well you have to know your business. If you borrow money from somebody at a high interest rate, you need to know how much money that's going to bring you. You cannot use that to buy a computer. You can't use it to paint the walls. You have to know how much money that money is going to bring you. And this will be my last example on that. Had a guy that borrowed $100,000 at 50%. Okay, 50% interest. $100,000. He had to pay back $150,000.
Mm-hmm.
Employee mindset says, man, that's a lot of money. That interest rate is crazy. This guy signs off on the paperwork, puts 2 trucks on the road. He was making $100,000 a month. The very next month, he doubled his revenue. He went to $200,000. And you watched his business grow from 200 to 300. His biggest month was $700,000. So he borrowed $100,000 and he made $1.2 million with the money that he borrowed. So let me ask you a question, and this is what I ask people. If you borrow $50,000 and you net profited $1.1 million, would you do it?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So
Without question.
that's how you have to understand your business. And we take you from the very beginning, showing you how to understand your credit report. There's no big, there's no small. Okay. And we help you grow your business because that's what it's all about, is helping you get from that person that, man, I don't know how to do this. You don't borrow money from me to start a website, to buy a website. You don't do that. It's too expensive. Okay. And on those big expensive loans I was talking about, and you asked me this question, Tony, we only give you an opportunity to do 2 of those with us because we don't want to be in that space.
Exactly.
That's not how we operate. Okay. Because the only reason that you're getting money at that rate is that your credit is not in where it needs to be. It's not 660 or higher. Okay. So if we get you these loans, or when we get you these loans, we encourage you to fix your credit along the way. So you're making money and you're getting healthy. So at the end of 2 of those types of loans, you should have no problem with your credit. You're going to go right into a term loan, 6 to 8%. We have other products that are 0% for 12 months. And that's where we make our money. That's where we like to be. Now we have the 50% loans out there if you need it, but we don't like being there and we won't stay there. We just not in our, just kind of, we like term loans. I'd rather give you $1 million at 1% than 10,000 at 50.
I understand that. Well, hey, folks, we have Daniel Whitten with Operating in the Black with us today. I hope that I hope you're not just turning in, because the brother was preaching and teaching all at the same time. And I feel the spirit up in the house this morning. So, and I want to, and Daniel is one of the partners now with the Private Money Syndicate. And what we're going to be doing is the majority of our small business lending is going to be going through Operating in the Black, because if you've been tuned in or if you watch this later, you really see the ethic and the consultative support that we want to provide to all the Private Money Syndicate clients. So certainly we're very blessed to have you and have you sharing what you just shared so far, Daniel. Now, he was just talking about cost of capital, and one of the things, I won't say few things, one of the things I remember from grad school is that the teacher in one of my last classes was a retired executive from ITT. And he was saying that capital, basically there are 4 inputs to a business. There's land, labor, raw material, and capital. So just as much as your office space, just as much as your payroll, just as much as whatever your goods are that you're selling, that you have to buy it, let's say wholesale and sell retail, there is a cost of capital. But all of those are put into the business, and whatever your recipe is, your formula is for creating profit out of that. So the statement he gave was that land, labor, raw material, and capital are to be consumed by the enterprise to create a profit for the owner. So what Daniel was just talking about is making you an owner. So that mindset has got to be different from the employee mindset, because Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman say debt is terrible, get out of debt. And yeah, as a consumer, they're right. But as a business owner, you have to learn how to employ debt, just like a chef knows how to employ flame and sharp knives, okay, to create a delicious meal. Okay, they're not dangerous unless you're ignorant. That's why we want to have people like Daniel and Operating in the Black, who can work with you and educate you and inform you, advise you, and lead you, along with the other consultative resources we have with the Private Money Syndicate, so that as an owner, whether a new owner or a very seasoned owner in the business that you're in, you're getting what you need to succeed, and so Daniel, that was a very powerful message, and we'll dig into that a little bit more as we go through. But now, if you would, and I'm one of these people who like to say, give me three. Now, what are the three biggest, and I think you kind of touched on one, but you can amplify on that one. What are the three biggest misconceptions that you find people have when it comes to getting money other than going to the bank? Because most people think if I want to borrow money, the bank is the only place, or the bank is where you go. But share with the viewers some of the misconceptions that you help overcome in providing capital to those who need it.
Okay. Well, when you're looking at obtaining a loan, it's always going to be cash, collateral, or credit. Those are just basically the three simple principles when you're looking for that. But I think a lot of people believe that they can't get credit. They can't get a loan because no one they're affiliated with has gotten a loan. They may be the first one in their family trying to get credit. Okay, so they're worried about coming to a bank and seeing somebody like this with their 795 credit score, and well, how, why do you, and that it's just a lot of fear. Okay, so one of the things that we do is we just bring that tempo down. Okay, I wear this because you will respect me a lot more. The information doesn't change with a suit and a tie. Okay, right. But it's just your perception. So I have to wear these types of tools so that you understand that I can help you. Now, once you get in the door, it's about, okay, what does your business plan look like to you? Okay, how are you looking to make profit? And I'm going to help you do that. We're going to go over your credit report. That's the first thing. The number one identifiable characteristic that all successful business owners do is monitor their credit. Mm-hmm. They know where they are at all times. I can guarantee I can ask Milt where he's at. I can guarantee I can ask you where you're at, and you're going to know. You're going to know how many inquiries you have. You're going to know when the last time you pulled your credit. You may even have your credit locked so nobody can pull your credit without your permission. Mm-hmm. Those are things that successful business owners do. So basically, perception that you can't get credit, understand what your credit worthiness is, and then the third thing is, how much do you need to borrow? How much money do you need to get your dream facilitated or started? And that's basically the three misconceptions, and that really comes down to you and how big and how small you want to start as far as how much money you need to borrow.
Okay. Now, one of the things you just mentioned is how much, and there'll be an expanded response you'll give to this. But I've had people come to me and say, I need to get a loan for $25,000. And then I say, okay, well, what are you going to do with the money? And so they're thinking about just getting a term loan, but then they will say, well, I want to buy a dually to haul cars with or something like that. And that goes into the type of financing or the type of funding, which would be secured equipment financing versus unsecured lending. So the use of funds, if you would talk about how important that is, not only in the amount, but that there are different types of capital that has different characteristics that relate to how the money is going to be used.
Okay. When an application comes in and it actually hits an underwriter's desk, it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have anything. It's just numbers. So that underwriter is going to look at those numbers, they're going to look at their matrix, and based on that matrix, they're going to say yes or they're going to say no. And that's where people like you and Milt and myself come in, is that we kind of give you an idea. If you're going to do equipment financing and it's not something that can be securable, you're looking at 25% down and a 580 FICO score, 560 FICO score, okay? If it's something that is titled, you can title, is 15% down, and so forth and so on. So I'm not sure if that answered your question or not.
Well, you were hitting on one aspect of it, and let me put it in this context. I'll just address it directly, and then you can respond. Most people just think of the amount. They don't think of what they're going to use the money for making a difference. So from the standpoint when they're saying I want to get 25,000 in their mind,
Right,
if they go online or if they do some of the many things, they'll just apply for $25,000, typically unsecured term loan. But
right,
if their intention, because we have the conversation with them, and we discover that they're going to buy equipment with it, or if let's say they've been in business and they're purchasing inventory,
right,
then there are different types of capital that has different characteristics, the rate, the repayment terms, all those things. So to the viewers, being aware that, dealing not, and there's nothing wrong with going online. I mean, the tools are there, but if like Daniel said, I can't remember if you said this before we came on or after we came on camera, you're going to pay for what you don't know. And
right,
sometimes the cost is you get turned down because
right.
you don't know that some of these things that we know are important to communicate to the lender so that they can properly place the type of money that you're looking for that's going to be helpful in you getting getting the loan, getting the best terms and things like that. So if you want to add to that comment,
Yeah,
please.
that was a tremendous point that you made. I mean, it's I cannot say this enough. When you go online and you give people access to your social security number, and they can take that file and put it between 40 to 50 other lending institutions that you don't know, inquiries are some things that just absolutely, you could have a great credit score. You could be 700. But if you have 20 inquiries in the last 3 months, you're not going to get that loan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because like I said, that your application hits the underwriter's desk and he or she's going to see 20 inquiries. They're going to assume that you got money from each one of those organizations, but they can't see it. So they're thinking, okay, you've got 20 loans out here.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a family to feed. I can trust that you've only got one. I can trust that, but if I'm wrong, then I don't get to feed my family. So I'm just going to stamp that no. So that's why it's important that they go to you. That's why it's important that they go to Mill to let us have an opportunity to review your credit before you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's every person that comes to our organization. That's the first thing we ask for. Let me have a 3 bureau credit report.
Right.
We're going to go over that. We're going to look at your address. Is your address reporting correctly? Because if you've been in the same place for 2 years, you're going to be available for different funding, lower funding amounts, just because you've been in your home or your apartment for 2 years or longer. And that's something you're not going to find out on the internet. So we're very consultative in that process. You know, we just ask that when we go through and do all this work for you, just please come and see us if we did a great job.
I want to kind of interject here because we did get first I want to say good morning to Lawana Hayes and Ryan Calloway, who are joining us this morning, who have chimed into our audience. But Lawana, she has a question. She says, how important is it to have a written business plan prior to seeking private funding? Which I think is a great question. Thank you, Lawana.
All right. Well, I will give an answer, and then I'll let our guest give his comments on that. I think it is important, and why I'm saying this is for the reason that we have a service that helps you to get a business plan with projections, because it gets you to think. Most people only think of starting. I want you to think where you want to be 3-4 years from now, because as I often tell, and I'm usually sharing this with real estate investors, I said, I want the money to be sitting there waiting on you, not you trying to find the money. Okay, so from a business person's point of view, having projections on how to manage this process allows other people to coordinate their efforts around your efforts. It's kind of like sheet music. If you guys might playing piano, guitar, and saxophone, they're playing different parts, but they're all looking and it harmonizes. When you have a business plan, that creates that sheet music that we can harmonize on now and going forward on the different types of capital, when you're going to need capital and all those kind of things. So it's a very informative document, not only to your intellectual development of your business as an idea, but for those people who will have to coordinate with your accountant, your private money broker, your staffing needs. All those things will be something you can start rolling into instead of everything being a pop-up event. So that's why I say it's really important. And capital being one of those inputs is organized around the plan. So, Daniel, what are your comments on that?
Well, I'll say I absolutely 100% agree with you on that. But one of the things I always tell people, don't let not having a business plan stop you from getting started, because there are so many little things in business that you're not going to learn until you are in business. When I was in high school, I was 6'2", 147 pounds. The coach could draw up a play where we would go around, but if Raven was sitting on that end at 220 pounds, he was going to put me on my can every single time. It didn't matter what the coach drew up, okay? And that's what you have to know in business. Something as simple as a copier. People don't think about that, okay? If you have a color copier and you're going out and you buy it for, let's say, $80, and you go through your 150 printouts, and then you have to go spend $60 on buying the cartridge again. Or you can go buy a Brother printer, laser printer. You're going to pay $149 for it.
Right.
When you reload it, it's $70, but you're going to get 10,000 prints out.
Right.
Okay? That's the thing a business plan is not going to show you. You're not going to know that until you're in it. Okay? And there's always little things about your particular business that you are not going to know. But it's always good, like the Godfather is saying, is have that money there. You know, the President of the United States is very good about using other people's money. He doesn't put his money at risk. Okay? He uses everyone else's money to make money. So you have to combine those things. You can't be so paralyzed by your business plan that you didn't get started, but you also, at some point, you do need to put it together so that you can leverage that as a tool for your future.
All right, and there you have it, Luana. You got two answers that tell you what you wanted to know.
All right. Now, we did get another question. If
Go
we
ahead.
can, Mr. Ryan Calloway asks, he says, not sure if either of you have read the book Good to Great. If you have, is it better to be a fox or a hedgehog? The fox does many things good. The hedgehog does one thing great. Why is this important in business?
Okay, well, I'll let you go first this time, Dane.
Okay, there's this favorite thing on LinkedIn that I love watching. It's this lioness, and she's watching all of these just flying by, right?
The wildebeest running by.
Yeah, the wildebeest, that's it. And they're just flying by, and she's just waiting, right? And then all of a sudden, the lion comes, and he just gets right in there and gets one and wrestles it down. And the commentator's like, don't wait, get into it. But the problem is, and what people don't consider is that lion is built a whole lot different than that lioness. Okay? That lioness went out there, she's going to get trampled, and in the jungle, that's life or death. She cannot make that decision. So you have to know, if you are a fix and flip person and you decide to go to the flip and hold, and now you've got a family in this house that's not paying the bills, are you the person that can throw them out? Can you do that? If you can't,
Right.
you got to know. So it's all really about you as a person, what your tolerance is for pain, because, you know, business is painful sometimes. And you get in it to help people, but sometimes to help other people, you've got to do some things that you would prefer not to do, like evict somebody. You know, they're the kids, the family, and all that stuff is sitting on the side of the street, and you're in there painting, waiting for the next person to get in there so you can service that person. So it really depends on if the fox, or I can't remember the fox, or whichever that hedgehog, which one of those personalities are you? And you need to design your business around your personality. Because if you're a hedgehog and you try to go out here like a lion, you're going to get trampled.
Well, and thank you for that, Daniel. And my comment is very akin to his. Know your strengths and know your weaknesses, because as Milt will tell you, I'm not gonna say I'm a one-trick pony. I think I'm a 1.75 trick pony. I like to surround myself with other experts who are great at doing. That's why Daniel's here, because I like focusing on real estate. I understand the other stuff, but I don't exactly enjoy it. Whereas he doesn't enjoy real estate. Am I right or wrong?
It's just one of those things that I love business owners. I love that. And yeah, real estate, everybody else can have that. Please.
Yeah.
Please talk to God, we do it, but guess who's going to get the business?
But what we create together is that platform that anybody can come to. We're going to get you what you need. Right. So that's why we're working together. Milt's great at the technology stuff. I'm learning so that we can be conversant, but I'm not going to be trying to do his job. So I think, to add to what Daniel was saying, and Ryan is my brother. In fact, he's going to be on our show coming up soon, as a matter of fact, with his photography business. But all the things have to be done. And I think one of the things that small businesses, that keeps businesses smaller than they could be, is your constraint, that your principle, what you can't do constrains you. So from the standpoint of being willing to go out and bring in the support and help to expand your platform, expand your domain, that's where you get stuck. The other side is you can't be great at everything.
Right.
You're probably great at some things, are really good at a few and just kind of good, and then you're bad. But, there are some people, and just to go back to what I was just saying, I love dealing with real estate investors. I like that. I know the other stuff, but I just don't have a joy. It doesn't give me joy to work with solve those problems. Whereas Daniel just said, that's what he loves. That gives him joy. And I think that is a part of that entrepreneurial pursuit. Where is your heart? That doesn't mean that the other stuff has to be ignored. You just have to find a practical way to address every aspect, whether it's the social media, you find some people. I don't like accounting. I have a bookkeeper and a CPA who does my taxes. The bookkeeper does the bookkeeping. I throw it all in the envelope and send a couple of emails and give access to my account.
Right.
Well, as you say, I keep up with it. I just don't like keeping up with it. So,
right.
From the standpoint to all of you out there, you got to put your business team together. You got to align your resources. So here's my suggestion. Make a list of all the tasks that need to be done. And then the only way you'll be able to ever sell a business is when you're not on the list of people doing the job. You got to find somebody to do that instead of you. So you might start out having to do stuff, but ultimately for your business to grow and be something that you can sell or franchise, it can't require your involvement for that business. So with that span of understanding, I think we addressed the question and maybe gave some additional insights. So we have anything else there, Milt? Because I got some more questions for our guest.
No, they just said both great answers, and thank you for that. So.
Okay, yeah, we're getting kind of deep and philosophical here today. I'm kind of excited about that.
Right.
All right, hey, another question for you here, Daniel. Well, inside Operating in the Black, you mentioned you have other services. So if you would, give us the menu of services that you provide and help everybody understand what they'll be able to benefit from in dealing with you and operating in the Black.
Okay. Once again, our services are basic loans. So we do the MCA space, merchant cash advance. We do term loans. We do, let's say that you have a bunch of business and you're just waiting for those organizations to pay you. We also have loans for those different things. Now, we have different affiliates that will take you and show you how to get an EIN or, register your business. Do you want a LLC? Do you want a corporation? We have affiliates that do that. We do have affiliates that do credit repair. So our main function is lending, but when you come to us, we'll be able to get you started and point it in the right direction. Again, we are a team of veterans here. The only one of our staff members who's not available to make it today is Heather Fisher. She's not a veteran, but her grandfather served in Korea. He had a Purple Heart and a bunch of other accolades. So we are well represented as far as the military is concerned. But no, we really care about our customers. We really care about getting you started in the right way.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Milt, do you have any questions for Dane? You've been amen, and now your head smiling and everything.
Right.
What's in your mind?
I would say, could you talk to us a little bit about the process for people who are coming to you, just starting off? What are some of the things that you would like them to kind of have in hand, if you will, when they come to you, that would help you expedite their process to helping them as soon as possible?
Okay. Well, the first thing that we do is we tell them a little bit about our company, and we direct them to operatingintheblack.com. The next thing that we do is that we ask for a 3-agency credit report, and they can do that simply by going onto our website, clicking on the link. They can check their credit for $1. If they want to keep it, it's $27.99. It's not our company, but it's very clearly written there. And again, we believe that everyone should monitor their credit. Now, once we get your credit, the next question that we're going to ask you is, who do you help? How'd you get started? What is your dream? What does your business satisfy? Because we need to know that. We need to know if we can even help you, because there's some businesses that we just can't help. So we need to know that so that we can point you in the right direction. Like I said, Tony, that those are things that I might, if you're looking for a $30 million loan for you're getting ready to develop some lots. Well, I'm not the guy for that, but I can call Tony and say, hey, Tony, here's a great person that's looking to develop lots and this, that. You specialize in that. So we want to find out what your dream is. Okay. So we get that situated. The next question I'm going to ask you is, what keeps you up at night? What problems are you having? What challenges are you having? Because I need to know that as well. Are you concerned about growth? Are you concerned about, man, I'm making all these sales, but I don't have the people, I don't have the money? Because I need to know what this $100,000 that I'm getting ready to give to you, well, not give to you, but loan to you, what's it going to do for you? How's it going to change your family? Are you going to be able to spend some more time home with the kids? Are you going to be able to buy a few more trucks and help a few more families? See, a business is not just a business. It's a friend. And that friend employs neighbors. It employs your family. It employs a lot of things. It's a living in a sense, it's a living organization. So we try to help facilitate you grow that in that way, because it's not just a piece of paper. It's not just a bill.
Awesome. All right. Well, now, what are 3 bits of advice that you want to share with our viewers about how they can improve their ability to get funding? And I know that's generic to the various types, but what are some of the pre-positioning things in addition to having an improving and monitoring their credit score? There are things that I see people fail to do, and you'll probably hit on some of those, and then I might fill in the blanks. But when I ask you that question, what response would you have?
Well, basically, it all goes back to that credit report and looking at, don't pay a bill unless it's going to get you something, because that's what a lot of people do is say, oh, I've got this 500 FICO score and I'm going to go pay off all my bills. Well, guess what? You just closed out 6 accounts. It's still going to show up as a late. It's still going to show up as a foreclosure. You didn't do anything for yourself. So that's why you need to talk to professionals in the industry that work with credit. Because by the time if you've been in a credit challenge situation for a while, that loan has been written off I used to work for Macy's. We had a huge organization that collected on accounts. And once we had ran you through that whole collection process, we sold that debt off. So you may have an account that we got for $100 of merchandise that we're now selling and writing off is $2,500 on our tax return. So we wrote that off. You've already benefited us. We're glad you didn't pay the $100 because we wrote $2,500 off. Okay.
Wow.
Now that's going to somebody that's calling you every day saying that you have no value. Okay. Now there are companies out there that buy that debt. And you can call those companies direct. If they don't own the debt, if you can find those companies that buy debt and say, you know what, I'm willing to pay $100 on this $2,500 negative that I have on my credit to get this thing satisfied, and it will fall off because they don't report it. That's why it's important to talk to specialists and not just go about doing things, because it's very expensive when you go at it alone.
You're right.
It's very expensive. So that's one of the things I would say is that before you pay anything off on your credit report, make sure you're going to get something. Make sure you're going to get that house. Make sure you're going to get that car, because it's very important. And basically the other thing that I would say is just kind of have an idea of where you want your business to grow once it starts growing.
Okay.
And that's basically all I have.
All right. Well, I want to get your opinion on this, because I've seen it on business lending as well as in the real estate side, is having cash reserves. Now, what happens oftentimes is people spend down to the bottom of the barrel, and then they want to go seeking capital. My experience is that, a lender wants to see that you have reserves, because they want to know that you have something to fall back on if the business takes a while to start generating the returns to make the payments and to create the profit, or if circumstances don't go according to plans. That puts you in a stronger position to qualify for the financing than if you're trying to get money to make the payroll next week because you don't have money in the bank to do so. So some of that forecasting, which I'll say the business plan and your projections, and having a bookkeeper or somebody who's helping to keep up with that, or using QuickBooks, puts you in a position. So the moral of the story for me, and Daniel, you can comment on as well, is don't wait till you're broke to try to get a loan. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. But in our space, a lot of people come and ask us to help them with their dream, and they have $0. So we can help you do that, but it's not starting your business out the right way.
Yeah. And part of, part of what we do here in the show is to educate people. So, from the standpoint, we want to, hey, look, if you try to find change to put gas in the car to get to us, that's okay. We'll do what we can to help you. But if you know better, you should do better. So, there's a message. All right, we got about 10 minutes before we have to wrap things up, and we definitely want to hear this commercial that's coming here at the end. But what's the future? I mean, first of all, I want to say I'm excited. I'm even more excited now to have you on the show today, to get a more a feel for your personality and your passion and everything. And I really appreciate you making the time for this. But what's lying ahead? What's the future hold for operating in the black?
Well, you can see we're in the midst of a huge social change in America. And, blacks are so underrepresented in the business community. And here's my thing is I really believe in America, and I really believe America is now wanting for us to win. Okay. I think we're at that time now. Black Wall Street at one point was, destroyed, and the dreams of our forefathers at that point were just kind of crushed and mangled. But I think we are at a point now where America is saying, Black America, African Americans, figure it out. Okay. Figure it out. We want you guys to win. And we're seeing a lot more African Americans come into the business space. They're asking the questions. They're educated now. They're hardworking. So we just think we're properly positioned to take advantage of this new America that's going to happen. So that's what we believe in what's getting ready to happen.
Well, man, that is fantastic. I know that we're going to do everything here as being partnered with you at the Private Money Syndicate to bring the capital that everybody needs to grow their businesses. And we know that you are able to deliver on the business side. And we certainly thank you for, and I'm sure more will be coming on the real estate funding type deals. I want to ask before now you can go ahead and gin up the band, have them warming up for the 2-minute commercial here. But Milt, do we have any other folks to say hi to this morning? I appreciate everybody who tunes in faithfully, and we want to address your questions. We got a little bit of time left if we have any more.
No, no more questions as of right now, but Tamara Chandler says hello. So hello, Tamara. Welcome
Hey,
to the
Daryl.
show.
All right, fantastic. Okay, well, hey, let's have your counterpart back, and let's have that 2-minute commercial here.
Come on.
This will be our first commercial on the Mind Your Business channel.
Go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Shanella, and here at Operating the Black, we give small business loans and large business loans. So if you would come and get your loan here, that would be awesome. Thank you, and we share all love with you. So please become part of our family here today. Thank you.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you, Chanel.
Bravo, bravo.
All right.
Great job.
At www.operatingintheblack.com. That's www.operatingintheblack.com. And again, our business hours are 9 to 5. But of course, if you need some additional time, we're more than pleased to speak with you at your leisure. Just let us know, and we'll certainly do that. You can reach us on email at daniel@operatingintheblack.com or info@operatingintheblack.com.
All right, fantastic. And you can also contact, and as I said, if you come through, go directly to them. Hey, please do. But for those of you who might see this and not know where exactly what to do, the Private Money Syndicate is here to help you. Our whole motto is we power your dreams with private money. And Daniel and Operating in the Black are part of the syndicate. And when it comes to the things that they do and do well, all of that business is going to be funneled to them, because I can tell right now, Milt, I'm sure you share my opinion that they couldn't be served better and by better people. And I was saying, your daughter, if I have to have a commercial made, I don't know if Dad's the agent, we have to get a contract done or what, but that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful, man. I really thank you. Well, we had a great show today. I do want to say that, Daniel, you have definitely shared a lot of very valuable information. You're certainly a motivator, man. I can tell you were great at everything that you did on your way to starting and operating and successfully running and growing your business. Now, you mentioned your staff. Who you surround yourself with, just for us to kind of have an idea of the fact that you see who I surround myself with right there on the screen.
Oh goodness, there is just so many, and you caught me on the spot on that one. So we have approximately 5 to 10 employees, depending on demand, that we can call on, and obviously we're affiliated with organizations such as yourself, and oh goodness, I can't even remember the guy that does our EINs and everything else like that. I would have loved to give him a thing right now, because that would be great. But we have everything that you need. Just if we don't, just give us a call. I'm sure we can reach out and do that. But I want to say, on behalf of our family here at Operating the Black, thank you so much for the opportunity. Milt, thank you so much for the opportunity to have this, because certainly you didn't have to do it. This is one of the things that we've been talking about, is that this is the time. People are helping people, and in our history, this may not have happened. We would have all been in our own little silo trying to trudge along and get it done. So I just, out of my humility, I want to say thank you for allowing us to come on your space, and thank you for allowing us this time.
Amen. We're blessed to have you. And to everybody, I want to thank you for tuning in today, as you often do, and spread the word. Not only like us, but share this on Facebook. And, as we say here at the Mind Your Business show, if you're going to go into business and stay in business, you've got to mind your business. So I want to thank Daniel for bringing us Operating in the Black. And with that, I'll turn it over to the maestro to take us on home.
All right. And again, as Tony said, and as Daniel said, welcome to the team, Daniel. I look forward to working with you on numerous projects, and You have a beautiful family. Thank you for sharing that with us. And yes, thank you again for tuning in. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care.